All right then. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this 38th session of council on Monday, November the 9th. Right. As this is an electronic meeting, right, we will ask each member of council to stay connected as much as possible. We have had some glitches this evening. If a member of council is not able to maintain their connection, we will pause for a few moments to allow them to reconnect. But if the disconnection continues, as long as we still have quorum, we will continue with the meeting. At this time, I would announce that we have been in closed session since 6:15 this evening. And during that closed session, the council approved the minutes of the closed session of October the 26th, discussed a property matter and provided direction to staff with that regard, and discussed a matter that is subject to solicitor-client privilege with regard to the Fairfield Goodsite property. At this time, as we gather here today, it is just a few days shy of Remembrance Day. And I want to take a moment to recognize our veterans and honor those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. This council is an expression of democracy in action, and we owe it to those who fought for our rights for the continuation of democracy. We owe them to remember their sacrifice and honor their gift to us. This year, we will mark Remembrance Day very differently than we have before, but more than ever, I hope that each of you here and all those listening will take a moment on Wednesday, November the 11th at 11 a.m. to reflect on the importance of the day, to honor those who have gone before, and to share those thoughts with those around you, especially the next generation. The tragedy and loss caused by the great conflicts, the wars, should always be remembered, to appreciate what we have because of that sacrifice, and to have it serve as a lesson that those horrors must never be repeated, lest we forget. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We move in. There is no open forum this evening, and there is no public meeting or notices of public meeting. So we move to the confirmation of the agenda for this evening. We have the agenda before us. Are there any additions to the agenda from any member of council or from staff? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion to approve the agenda. Councillor Townend, thank you. So moved. Councillor Parks, seconded. Any questions? Then I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Next, I look for the declaration of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. Is there anyone who wishes to make such a declaration this evening? Anyone? Councillor Porter?
Yes, item 14.3, Mill Creek Subdivision. I'm in the conflict of interest as I'm an adjoining property owner.
Thank you. The paperwork has been filed with the clerk. Okay. Moving forward, right, the minutes of the regular council meeting of October the 26th, item 7.1. We have the minutes before us. Are there any noted errors or omissions? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve those minutes? Go with Councillor Townend, Councillor Buderick. Right. Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Yeah, there are no delegations or presentations this evening, no unfinished business. We move to agenda item 11.1, the appointment of local authority services as agent for natural gas purchasing. We have a report from Mr. Dickey. And I believe Mr. Dickey is here, our treasurer. And we have the report before us. Mr. Dickey, do you have anything to add to the report at this time?
No, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. All right, council, do we have any questions with regard to the report? Seeing none, I look for a motion. Councillor Porter, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Thank you. Councillor Porter, any comment?
No.
Deputy, any comment? Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. We move to item 11.2, the American Scholarship Fund for 2020. Again, we have a report from Mr. Dickey. And Mr. Dickey, is there any further comment?
No, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Council, do we have any questions with regards to this? Seeing none, I will add the comment that now annually this American Scholarship has helped to fund many of our youth in pursuing post-secondary education, and we will always be grateful for the contributions, both past and current, towards this fund and the help that it gives to our young people. With that, I look for a motion on the recommendation. Councillor Townend, so moved. Seconded by Councillor Gordon. And mover, any comment?
Just to echo your worship, that we're grateful for the fund itself and for those that donate to it, and congratulations to the deserving recipients.
Thank you. Seconder, any comment? No? Anyone else? I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. We move forward to item 12.1, partial road closure for Amherst Island seasonal roads. We have a report from the director. Ms. McFarland, do you have any comments to add to this report at this time?
Nothing further, your worship.
Thank you. Council, do we have any questions with regard to it? Seeing none, I look for a motion. Councillor Townend, so moved. And Councillor Porter seconded. Thank you. Councillor Townend, do you have any comments?
Yes, I would just say, your worship, the report is obviously very clear and well written in why this is necessary, and we know the history, particularly with the Marshall 40-foot in the last several years, of having people get stuck and so on and so forth. It is a hard thing, I think, for some islanders to swallow, particularly in relation to the Marshall 40-foot, which I just want to acknowledge. And my hope continues to be that we will continue to try and think of alternative ways to create better access to the Owl Woods in particular in the future, with some kind of plan or development for the Marshall 40-foot. But of course, under these circumstances, we do need to do this. So.
Thank you. Second, or any comment? Councillor Porter? No, thank you. And anyone else? No. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Moving forward to Corporate Services Department with the Township Clerk. Item 13.1 is Pound Services. We have a report from Ms. Chapman. Ms. Chapman, do you have anything to add to this report at this time?
Nothing unless there's questions, your worship.
Thank you. Council, do we have any questions with regard to this change? Seeing none, I look for a motion. Councillor Townend, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Thank you. Councillor Townend, any comments? Deputy? No? Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Item 13.2 is the Integrity Commissioner Service reappointment. Again, we have a report from the clerk. The clerk, is there anything to add to it at this time?
Nothing, your worship, unless there's questions.
Thank you. Council, do we have any questions with regard to the reappointment of the Integrity Commissioner? I see none. I look for a motion. Councillor Porter, so moved. Second by Councillor Gordon. Thank you. Councillor Porter, any comment? Councillor Gordon? No? Anyone else? And I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Moving forward to Economic Growth and Community Development Services, agenda item 14.1. We have a report entitled Request to Purchase Land and a recommendation. And Do we have anything from the director to add to this report at this time?
Nothing to add, Your Worship.
Thank you. Council, do you have any questions with regard to it? I'm seeing none. Okay, do I have a motion? Councillor Townend, so moved. And Councillor Buderick seconded. Oh, sorry, Councillor Townend, go ahead.
I believe in the recommendation, it's requiring direction for staff. Is that correct?
Actually, yes, thank you. Go ahead, Councillor Townend.
Yeah, I would move to receive the report and direct staff to decline any current offers to purchase the property prior to the adoption of the secondary plan.
I'll take that as the motion. And do I have the seconder for that? Deputy Mayor. Mover, comment? I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
Sorry, Your Worship. I think the secondary plan, we've asked staff to do that, and the plan is forthcoming in the very near future. I think to entertain purchase at this point for the reasons very clearly outlined in the report would be premature at this stage.
Thank you. Seconder. Deputy, any comment? No? Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Moving to item 14.2, civic addressing bylaw. We have a report from the director. Is there anything to add to this at this time?
No, Your Worship.
Thank you. Council, do we have questions with regard to this report and the recommendation? Councillor Porter?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, to Debbie. On page 26, the first paragraph states, except names proposed by township staff, road names proposed in this category shall be approved by council. Can you enlighten me on the rationale why we wouldn't approve names that were proposed by staff as well as by the general public?
Through Your Worship, I didn't write this report. MJ, would that be Bowden that could speak to it?
Yes, I believe Bowden is Mr. Winnicky in the attendance there?
He is. I'll just bring him over.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, I am here. Sorry, I was just timed out for a second. I don't understand why.
Thank you, Mr. Winnicky. Did you hear the question from Councillor Porter?
Could you repeat the question?
And Councillor Porter?
Yeah, certainly. On page 26, the first paragraph reads, except names proposed by township staff, road names proposed in this category shall be approved by council. And I'm just wondering what the rationale was, why names proposed by staff would not go through an approval process by council. If you could just explain that rationale, that'd be great.
I also similarly did not write this report. In terms of that specifically, I believe I'll have to look into that a little bit more and get you an answer for that. As for the rationale for why that was written that way.
Councillor Porter, did you have further question?
Yes, without rationale, I have a little bit of an issue with that. I wanted to hear the rationale because there could be very good reason for it, but I can't think of the reason myself. So I would just say that I would like to hear the reason before I vote on any motion in regard to this report.
Thank you. Other members of council have any questions with regard to the report? Councillor Townend?
Just a question to staff through you, Your Worship, whether or not this enacting the bylaw is time sensitive. Otherwise, I wouldn't see the problem with proposing a motion for deferment to satisfy Councillor Porter's question.
And to the director or to Mr. Winnicky, is there any reason why this can't be deferred?
I know there's no
There's no
time
reason.
limit with that bylaw, sorry.
Your worship.
Thank you. And other members of council with questions before I take a motion? Councillor Porter, go ahead.
I'll just move to defer.
And motion to defer by Councillor Porter, seconded by Councillor Buderick. And there's no discussion on a motion for deferral. Is there a timeline to which we'd like that deferred?
Just when staff can bring it back. There's no sense of urgency as was indicated. So whenever they have the ability to look at that and bring it back.
Thank you. The clerk understands that. Council understands that. So then I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion for deferral is carried. Thank you. Moving forward to item 14.3, Mill Creek Living Subdivision, Phase 1. I have a report by the director and a recommendation. I believe Councillor Porter has declared a conflict and has therefore gone off screen. Right. Does the director have anything to add to this report at this time?
No, your worship.
Thank you. Council, do we have any questions with regards to it? No? Then I look for a motion. And Councillor Buderick, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Councillor Buderick, do you have any comments? Seconder, Deputy? Anyone else? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. And we move to item 14.4, draft plan of approval extension for Bar Homes. Councillor Porter has returned. Thank you. Right. We have a report with regard to Lakeside Ponds draft plans with recommendations. Sorry, I'm just getting it up on my screen. So we have the recommendation with 5 parts and a further. Right. Does the director have anything to add at this time?
No, your worship.
Thank you. Council, do we have any questions? Seeing none, can I have a mover for this? Councillor Porter, so moved. Okay. Do I have a seconder? Deputy, thank you. Mover, any comment? Deputy, seconder, any comment? Anyone else? Then I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Item 14.5, Climate Action Plan. We have a report before us with a recommendation. Does the director wish to add anything to this time or bring another staff member to add any comments at this time?
We have no further comments, but if there are questions, Ms. Campbell is here to answer these questions.
Thank you very much. Right, Council, do we have any questions with regards to this? None? Then I look for a motion. Councillor Townend, so moved. And Councillor Buderick, seconded. Councillor Townend, comments?
Yes, just my thanks to the staff who have been working on this and prepared this report. I think, as the report outlines, it's a very reasonable target, and it's important that we set it. The public consultation process that went into to the building of this was very, very thorough and very, very positive. We have a lot of interest and activism within the township, and a willingness and a desire to see a comprehensive climate action plan for the community in conjunction with the one that we've approved ourselves as the corporation. And so this is all very good step in the right direction. And again, my gratitude goes towards staff.
Thank you. Seconder, comment?
It's just nice to see the community getting behind what we're trying to do ourselves as council, so it's fantastic.
Absolutely. Any other comments? No? I will add that I'm greatly looking forward to the initiatives that come from this that will enable us to achieve these targets. This is a wonderful step. And if there's no further comment, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Moving forward to communications for consideration. Item 16.1, correspondence with regard to an Amherst Island emergency shelter be received. Seek direction. Council? Deputy, go ahead.
Excuse me, I'd move to receive and direct staff to bring back a report for council's review.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Townend, move or comment? Seconder comment?
Yeah, just I would comment just my appreciation to the fire chief. This has been something that's been ongoing in communication with staff in the last several days since these communications came in as of last week, and I know staff are already anticipating, coming up with solutions to this, as it is important to Islanders. It is an important provision. So my thanks to staff for hitting the ground running on this, and we'll look forward to a report when it comes.
Absolutely. Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Item 16.2, we have a draft budget prepared by Quinte Conservation. The letter addressed to Mr. Silver. Council, what would you like to do with that? Anyone? Councillor Porter?
I'll move to receive the report and adopt the recommendation.
I think to be brought forward to budget. Thank you. And I'll take that motion. Do I have a seconder? And Councillor Parks. And mover, any comment? No? Seconder, any comment? Anyone else? Seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Item 16.3, we have correspondence from the CRCA and their draft budget with a similar recommendation. Council, what do you want to do with this one? I'll go to Councillor Porter.
Yes, move to receive and adopt the recommendation.
So moved, seconded by Councillor Townend. Councillor Porter, any comments?
Yeah, just that I'm happy to see that they're only proposing a 2.1 overall levy increase, which is much better than previous years that we've seen.
Absolutely. Councillor Townend, any comment? Thank you. Anyone else? Then I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. We move to agenda item 17, notices of motion or direct motion. Do we have anything to be brought forward by council this evening? Anyone? Apparently we have none tonight. Then we move to the consent agenda. For the purpose of convenience and for expediting meetings, matters of business that are repetitive or routine in nature are included in the consent agenda, and all such matters of business contained in the consent agenda are voted on collectively. A particular matter of business may be singled out from the consent agenda for debate or for separate vote upon the request of any member of council. In the case of a separated vote, the excluded matter of business is severed from the consent agenda. Each and every matter of business contained in the consent agenda is recorded separately in the minutes of the meeting. Is there anything within the consent agenda that any member of council wishes to extract? Seeing none, I look for a motion to approve the consent agenda. Councillor Townend, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Any comments? Mover, seconder? Anyone else? Then I'll call the question on the consent agenda. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. And we move to item 24, members' privilege. Is there anything any member of council wishes to bring up under members' privilege? Councillor Townend, go ahead.
I just have two items, Your Worship. I'd like first to offer condolences to the Hitchens family at the sudden and unexpected death of Gary Hitchens. Gary was a profoundly liked and respected member of the Amherst Island community, and he will be very much mourned and missed. And secondly, I'd like to thank Ida Gavalis, Molly Stroyman of Amherst Island, and Jen Barber of Loyalist Pharmacy for a very successful flu shot clinic over 2 different days on Amherst Island. Ida in particular is to be commended for her independent initiative to facilitate these flu vaccinations on the island, which was to serve in particular its vulnerable population during this time of pandemic. The success of her efforts is further evidence of the socially conscious and altruistic drive that characterize Amherst Island's engaged citizenry, of which I am continually proud to represent.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who wishes to bring something forward under members' privilege? Seeing none, we move to upcoming meeting dates. We are scheduled to have a regular council meeting on November the 23rd, Committee of Adjustment and Committee of the Whole on December the 7th, and then regular council again on December the 14th. We are requested at this time to set a date for a statutory public meeting for the official plan, done virtually, of course. The suggestion to council is December the 15th. I will need a motion to approve that date or suggest some other. Members? Can I get a motion to approve that date? Councillor Townend, so moved. Anyone, can I have a seconder? Councillor Buderick, thank you. Any comments or questions? Seconder, Deputy Mayor, go ahead.
Sorry, could I just confirm the date? Did you say 15th or 14th? My internet kicked out.
And what I have on the schedule is December the 15th, 1-5. Any other questions or comments? We have mover and seconder. Councillor Porter, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is a public meeting for the official plan. Is that, sorry, the audio broke up. So I just want to be sure that that's what you said.
Yes, this is the statutory public meeting for the official plan.
I'm of two minds. It's nice to finally get it done, but at the same time, it's really bad timing for people that close to Christmas. I think we want as much participation as possible, and people are starting to get really busy and whatnot, and thinking of holidays and everything else. Like, it's been this long for this long a time. I don't see why we can't hold it in January, or when it's not so busy for people.
If I may direct a question to the director or to Mr. Winnicky, what would the schedule of planning be for the approval of that official plan?
Oh, just a moment. Through you, through your worship. So after the statutory public meeting, we would gather any comments or input that we get there, go back, depending on the volume, breadth of those comments, work that into a final report to bring back to council. Could be same month, it could be the following month, again, depending on the complexities of the comments that we get.
I don't believe there is a meeting after December the 14th of regular council, so it would fall to, I'm assuming, the second Monday in January or later, depending on comments.
Yes, that would seem correct.
That's the case, Councillor Porter. That would provide a month's worth of time for public. I recognize that it's over the Christmas break, so that month is not as full as possible, but it is at least a month worth of time for those public comments before they come back to council.
And if I may follow up that
Yep.
through you, what kind of notice and how are we going to notify people of the statutory meeting? Like, this is a really important meeting. I get lots of people talking to me about they don't specifically say official plan, but they mention things like severances and consents and all those things. And I keep telling them that the official plan is up for review and they'll have a chance to comment. So I'm wondering, how are we going to notify people? Like, is it going to be posted front and center on the website? Is it going to be put out with any kind of water or bill, or like what is the plan for that?
Yeah, so we have to have minimum, there's a minimum requirement to post it in a local newspaper, which we always do. In addition, our website will be updated with the most current red line version. And we will use social media to try and get the word out that way as well. So that was what we were thinking.
And Councillor Porter, any follow-up?
Yeah, no, I just, we always get criticized for people not knowing. It's up to them to look. I understand that, but this is an important statutory meeting, and I know a lot of people are interested in, and I'd hate to see the notice not get out or not enough time to let people know that it's happening and let people get prepared or whatever they want to do.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor to set that date for December the 15th. Right? Unless there's a change proposed to that. Okay. I'll go back to the mover. I believe it was Councillor Townend. And no, I forget who moved that. Sorry. To the clerk, who moved that?
Councillor Townend
Okay.
and Councillor Buderick.
Thank you. And I'll go
All
back
right,
to
that's fine. I moved it.
and unless there's an intent to change that date, we have the motion and mover and seconder. And I'm prepared to call the question. So I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, thank you. And we come to the confirmatory bylaw. Can I get a motion to confirm these proceedings? And I'll go with Councillor Parks and Councillor Gordon. Okay. Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. And we come to the motion for adjournment. Everybody jumps on this one. I'll go with the Deputy Mayor and Councillor Buderick. Okay. Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. We are adjourned, folks. Thank you very much. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Have a good
Good night,
evening.
everybody.